All right, all right, all right. We're live. We are live. All right, we're live. Looks like we're got one viewer. We got two viewers. It looks like we got Harold and Clark instantly making me duo interstatal. Here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Angie's Angles. It is March the 13th in the year of my Lord 2025. And before we go any further, and I'm sure he's not listening, but in the event he is, I want to wish my son Ryan Angelo Gagliano a very happy 26th birthday. 26 years ago, we were blessed with Ryan coming into the world. And a little information about Ryan. He was born in 1999, hence the 26 years. The same year that Nolan Ryan was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So figure out where Ryan got his name from. Thank you, Eric, for the happy birthday wishes. I appreciate that. So tonight's Angie's Angles, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the Francisco Alvarez injury. And now some of you ball players out there, Clark, Harold, Eric, we all know too well what the hamate bone is. The hamate bone is located right about here. And it really is it's a pretty common injury to baseball players, tennis players, golf players, anything that you have a grip and you're putting a lot of torque on that. You have an opportunity. Officer Lennon, I appreciate you. You have an opportunity to fracture your hamate bone. It's a little hook bone, they call it. They also call it the hook bone. So he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Maybe we're going to be looking at 3 months, half the season, because it's not only his hamate bone, it's on his catching hand. So that takes a pounding, every pitch. And some of you might be, lambasting the fact that we're going to be offensively hurt by Alvarez's absence. Kevin Linux will tell you, not so quick, people. We might be able to get around the offense production from one Francisco Alvarez, but what we might not recover from is his game calling. Francisco Alvarez's ERA when he caught the New York Mets was like unbelievable number. And you can look that up. Kevin, if you're watching, you can throw that out there. We'll put it up on the big screen. So Francisco Alvarez, sadly, he's going to be out at least 2 months. Now, we'll see. He's going to have surgery on it if it's not already happened. He's got to rehab it. Then he's got his timing back and make sure it's, take the pound. I'm sure they'll put a lot of cushion in his catcher's mitt. Maybe they'll make a modified catcher's mitt with some absorbent. I don't really know. Just to add on to Officer Lennon's comment that I look good for severe injury. Yesterday, I had an incident at work. Complete accident, no big deal. But I suffered a concussion. Went to the hospital. They advised a lot of rest. Stay off the boob tube. Stay off the computer. I managed to get a half day's work in today because I had some things to do. And here I am. Here I am live coming to you from Smoke Therapy. So, how are we going to replace Alvarez in the catcher's department? Well, we got one Luis Torrens. And the small sampling that we saw last year, he's very capable of taking over the catching duties. And offensively, he wasn't too shabby, coming in with some Clark. Yeah, that's funny, Clark. Coming up with some good offensive hits. Now, he's not that far removed from 2021, folks, when one Luis Torrens in 108 games hit 15 home runs. So the guy's got some power. He's only 28 years old. And maybe this is his time to shine and give us a little offensive output. Now, certainly this changes the lineup. So everybody probably jumps up 1 or 2 spots. You might have Torrens batting 8th or 9th. And plus now McNeil's injury with the oblique, right? McNeil's out. That almost, in fact, makes Kevin a prophet that Acuna's going to go north. We're probably going to see Acuna as an opening day second baseman. I don't want to see Batty there. I don't want to see him opening at second base. He's really not a second baseman. We tried this out. Didn't work so well. He had a couple of plays that he miscued and didn't do well in spring training, although his bat's been hot. He's been hitting the ball all over the field. Now, one could say we could use Beatty as a trade bait and maybe go get a veteran catcher that might be able to take the main spot and make Torrens our backup. But we're going to see what happens. Yeah, Harold, the injuries suck, and it just seems to be more and more prevalent as these snowflakes, i.e. hashtag Nemo sucks, limits his production in spring training because he's got to save himself for the season. That's like me walking into work saying, hey, Monday, Tuesday, I'm coasting because you want the best out of me Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It doesn't work like that. Hey, Richie, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you, pal. Thanks for signing on. Thank you very much. We're talking about the Francisco Alvarez injury. Now we're also talking about Jeff McNeil. And I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times ad nauseum on Angie's Angles. We should have traded McNeil after he won the batting title. He's never lived up to the hype since. And you knew that was the best you were going to get out of the guy. So now we're stuck with McNeil rehabbing his oblique. That's a 2-month to 3-month stint. But that might be, that silver lining in the cloud, allowing Acuna to start the season as your active everyday second baseman and batting second. I would love to see Acuna bat second. Lindor, Acuna, Soto, Alonso, Vientos. That's a hell of a lineup right there. Yes, Richie, we can live without McNeil, but Alvarez is important. And I covered this, I think, Richie, before you logged on. Not only for his offensive production, but he calls a hell of a game and keeps our ERA at a brisk, very nice number that our pitchers like pitching to him. Yeah, listen, Eric, Marte, I'd rather see Winker in there. I don't want to see Marte all that much. Marte, I think, is also on his way out. We're going to see what happens. So what does this mean long-term for Alvarez? Does Alvarez's career take a hit on this? This is second-hand injury in 2 years. We lost him for a couple games last season. Does this weaken his power swing? We don't know. Time's going to tell us that. What does this do for our 2025 season with the New York Mets? Well, it shortens our lineup, right? We did have a little bit length in our lineup with Alvarez in there. But I think Torrens is going to be just fine. Do we find a backup veteran catcher? Do we make a play for one? I don't know. But McNeil going down is kind of ironic a week and a half after Iglesias signs that contract with San Diego. Now, it was a minor league contract, so do we still have an option to maybe go get him back? I don't know. It might work, might not. I'm not really sure. Eric, you bring up a great point. We need pitching. I just don't see us going into the season with the pitching we have. I think we've spit the bit and missed opportunity after opportunity to bring in one more solid pitcher. Are we really convinced that Clay Holmes is the second coming of, I don't know, Ron Darling? I don't know. He's been pitching amazing. Yeah, Eric, we could talk about Bauer all day long ad nauseum. But I think Bauer's ship has come and gone. I think when the ship comes in for Bauer, he's going to be at the airport. If you know what I mean. So we had promised you a forecast of the Mets, of the National League East and the Mets lineup, but we're going to push that back to next week unless something else breaks. But we had to cover the Alvarez story. It has a little, hey, Mark Brooks, my brother from another. Everybody, check my Facebook page. I walked into Smoke Therapy today, 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. I had a box about yay big waiting for me at the front desk. Hey, John, how are you, pal? Thanks for signing on, John. I appreciate you, my friend. Mark Brooks is an expert. I don't know, Mark. What do you want to call yourself? A wood engraver? Is that a good word, Mark? Help me out with that. But he made me a sign. I'm going to take a picture and post it. I'm going to take a more of a close-up picture. He made a picture, a board of me for Angie's Angles. He's got an excellent facsimile of myself on it with the cigar, with the Mets. I'm very honored. It was a birthday present from Mark Brooks to me, so I greatly appreciate that. My brother from another. Yeah, John, we just talked about the pitching. We're in agreement. I'm not confident with the pitching going into the season. You got Senga coming off an injury, and you don't know what he's going to produce. Can Peterson repeat himself? Is McGill going to be in the lineup? What's Clay Holmes going to do? We got good news on Manea. He's starting to ramp things back, and we might miss him for like the first 2 weeks of April. But he got a clean wood carver. Thanks, Mark. He was a wood. I don't disagree with you, John. I think we spit the bit with Flaherty, a Crochet. We could have got any one of those guys. I'm not really sure why we did not. Will one of the young guys down in the minors make it, or get an early call up at the end of May, or the end of April even? Time's going to tell us. I'm not really sure where we're going to go with that. Now, all lineups that I've seen to date has Soto batting second. And I'm scratching my head about that. How does Soto bat second in that lineup? It's just not, it makes no sense because you can't have Lindor and Soto go back-to-back, belly to belly with the home runs. And that's 2 solo home runs. But yeah, sure, you start the game 2-0, okay. My coffee's gotten a lot better. Thank goodness. But I really like to see some distance between Lindor and Soto. So I want to see Lindor, Acuna, Soto, Alonso, Vientos. And then we play from there. Nimmo, you could bat Nimmo second, maybe, possibly. If he keeps pace with the stolen bases, that's an opportunity, sure. Oh, Richie, I did see that too, Richie. Hey, I'm going to put this up on the big screen, Richie. Richie's telling me he saw a lineup that had Nimmo in the cleanup spot. Yikes, you're not kidding. Hashtag Nimmo sucks. Mark it down. 8-year, $160 million contract. Oh, my goodness. And he's dealing with the plantar fasciitis. Go ask Albert Pujols how that feels. It's not a good injury to be rehabbing from. We've got Siri. So you know who's going to be playing Nimmo second. Yeah, John, we can see Nimmo second. I'll accept that for sure. He's a contact hitter. He works the count. You can see a lot of pitches make the pitcher tired when he faces Soto. All positives, John. I don't disagree. But you can't have Lindor and then Soto. It just doesn't work. And why does everybody here on Angie's Angles, including the host with the most, know this and the management doesn't? I'm not really sure what they have in mind. But let it be known that Danny and I will be at opening day. I was able to secure some standing room only tickets, albeit at $125 each, for God's sakes. But we'll be there. We'll be with the McKessies. We'll be tailgating in the parking lot. Give the McKessies a little shout out. Looking forward to that. So we're going to find out. Yeah, they will play around with the lineup, John. I don't disagree with you, but they can't start it Lindor Soto. I don't think that's the formula. I don't think that's going to work. And if I'm Soto, I don't want that, right? Because it's going to affect my RBI total, and it's all about me, right? The whole 9 yards. Listen, Soto's a Met. He's going to be for at least, the next 5 years, I think, until he's got the opt-out clause. So we'll see what that presents. I'm not really sure. We're at the 8:45 mark. So Clay Holmes, like I said, Beatty's been doing well. Alonso's been hitting the ball. He's carrying like a 276 average in spring. Soto's been mashing the ball with the home runs, doing what he's got to do. We really need to start the season on all 4 cylinders. We need to start the season running, getting out of the gate quickly. We can't put any distance between us and the top teams. And the top teams we're looking at are Philadelphia and Atlanta, who Atlanta's have their own issues. Their Acuna is going to be sidelined for a little bit and rehabbing. They got some pitching woes down in Atlanta. But speaking about pitching woes, not that I ever wish any harm on anybody, but the fact of the matter that it happened, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout glee about Garrett Cole needing Tommy John. The damn Skankies are starting the season as an underdog. Now, I don't count them out, although we don't know when Stanton's going to become available. He's got double elbow injuries, and that guy just might be done. So the Skankies, and they got LeMahieu, who's hurt. So they're hurting. They're lucky, I suppose, they didn't trade Stroman. And Stroman is like kind of Nimmo, but in reverse. He's good until the All-Star break when he might be traded to another team, and then he spits the bit. Clark, who's Matan? Clark's giving us a little update that the St. Louis picked up Maton. Clark, fill us in on who that is. Yeah, Richie, you're not kidding. 34 years old, throwing the ball like he did with the spin rate. He defied logic and odds, I suppose. But go tell that to Nolan Ryan, Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, John Matlack, Jerry Kuzman. Tell it to all those guys who spun the ball and threw it as hard as he does. You know, the players today are soft. They got no intestinal fortitude, in my opinion. Oh, Phil Matan of my Mets. Okay. Thanks, Clark. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Clark. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. So just to recap, Francisco Alvarez is out 6-8 weeks. I'm going to call it maybe 10 to 12 weeks once the rehab and the minor league assignment goes on for him to get his timing back. McNeil is out anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks also. We got good news on Manea. He's been cleared to start throwing again. We might miss him the first 2 weeks of April. We could probably afford that with no problem. We definitely need Manea in that pitching rotation. So we're at the 8:48 mark. I'm gonna do an early week prediction. I think the Mets, as we sit with the division we're in, with the teams that we're playing, I'm going to go 94 wins for the Mets, plus or minus 3. So we're either looking at 91 or 97. I got a plus or minus 3. I'm going to write that down right now. 94 plus or minus 3. So 91 or 97. That should be more than enough at 94 to get us at least perhaps the division, if not the wild card. the Phillies are gonna give us a run for the money. I think the Phillies pitching is far superior than ours. I think our bullpen is better than the Phillies. I think our offense is on pace with the Phillies. So it's going to be hit or miss with those, 1 or 2 run games that push us to the lowest side of 94 to the higher side of 94. It's going to be an interesting season. I'm psyched that we're starting off against the Toronto Blue Jays. Why not? Let's just start it off against a freaking interleague team where you only could get one game in the standings, a half a game or whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You play the interleague, and the Phillies are playing, Atlanta perhaps, and you're right off the bat. You're really not playing divisional baseball, and I think it has a problem. Clark, thank you for the update on Matan. So Matan had a 3.66 ERA, 71 games between the Mets and the Rays last year. What did we do? Not protect him? Is that how you got him? Was there a trade made, Clark? James Krause is in the house. What's up, James? Thanks for joining Angie's Angles. James, you're a little tardy, but we're talking about the Francisco Alvarez / Jeff McNeil injuries to the Mets. Every year we seem to be having snake bit. So the Alvarez injury, James, as I said earlier, offensively, I think we can cover Alvarez's absence, but it's the game calling, the pitch calling behind the plate that we're going to lose his expertise. That's okay, James, and I hope Darcy's foot's getting better. James, we got to set up that wing night, so talk to your honey, and let's get that done. All right, so we're going to go into the prayer circle at the 8:52 mark. As always, Harold starts us off with praying for his wife and co-worker Dawn Squared. Both wife and co-workers' names are Dawn. Scott Tobias, we're praying for your wife and your mom. Linda Stein, we're praying for your dad and yourself, young lady. Mark Brooks, my brother from another, we're praying for your dad's self. And an update on Mark Brooks. The foundation has been laid for Mark and family's new house. I believe the module is going on very shortly, if not already, and they'll be moving in soon enough. Kevin Elliott, we're praying for you, my friend, and your health challenges. Krause family, as always, we're praying for Aubrey and that the cancer remains in remission and Darcy's foot. Clark, we're praying for your brother-in-law, Brad, and your sister Trish and yourself. You got to tell me how the golf scores are, Clark. Deb and Lee, we're praying for you guys down in Maryland. Mary and Bella, we're praying for your mom out there in Las Vegas. Larry Levy, we're praying for your wife Frida as her cancer has gone into remission. We got an update on Mr. McGowan. He's still in rehab. He's doing well. And I'm telling you, once we get the clearance, we're going to have a special night with Mr. McGowan as my co-host. Big John in the lounge of smoke therapy. We're praying for cousin Richie, Phil's Nona, his friend Irene, and his brother Angelo's friend Dave, sadly, who was just diagnosed with a brain tumor. Please keep Dave in your prayers. Ralph, we're praying for Anna Hancock. Tom, we're praying for your friends Paul and Janet. Joe, we're praying for your friend Wayne with the ALS. John, we're praying for John Kane. Alex, we're praying for you and your family as you continue every day with the loss of your wife and your kid's mom. Mike, smoke therapy owner, we're praying for your son Matt, who's got a concussion. Randall and Missy, we're praying prayers for the adoption case. And Randall, also with your oh boy, what is it called? Kidney stone. That it passes or the procedure is making you get better. That's our prayer circle for this week. Oh, Richie. All right. Richie lost a good friend and big Met fan, Bob Rady, to the dreaded cancer last week. Richie, we're praying for Bob's family. So, again, if you guys ever have a need to send somebody on the prayer circle, DM me, private message me, drop it here like Richie just did. Don't be shy, and we'll get it done. We're going to, again, I just wanted to give a shout out to my son, Ryan Angelo Gagliano, the ripe old age of 26, down in Bradenton, Florida. It's his birthday today. And he was named after Nolan Ryan. And I'm wearing Nolan's Met jersey, number 30. You can see that there. That Bob got me for, I think it was Christmas on my birthday last year. I don't remember. So next week, barring any major injuries or breaking news with the New York Mets, we will definitely going to be doing definitely going to be doing the forecast for the Mets lineup, and we're also going to do the NL East standings. Put this up on the big screen. James Krause' birthday is Monday, and Aubrey's is Saturday. So Krause family, lots of celebration in the Krause household, celebrating some milestones, some birthdays. James, what are you turning? What, 40? I got 20 years on you. I don't know how old you are, James. Oh, my God. Aubrey's going to be 17. That's incredible. Oh, my goodness. James, how old are you going to be, bud? 49. Wow. All right. I got 11 years on you, James. 11 years. All right. I appreciate everybody that logs on. Thank you so much. I got a couple of newbies, so I appreciate you guys showing up constantly. This has been wonderful. Next week, don't miss Angie's Angles with the Met forecast predictions on the NL East. Good night. God bless. I love you.